さん、I Great Oka United Empire。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas. I am here with our co-host, Rome, the champion of the Broken Predictions, making it, painfully obvious.
Every 4 minutes?
Look, my job is to elevate this podcast, to elevate this championship. Unlike you, Forrest, you come and you think that the belt's going to elevate you. I elevate the belt. But I'm also doing fantastic, by the way.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Forrest, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm feeling elated and elevated.
Excellent, man.
I don't even need that title.
Good to
yeah,
hear.
just seeing it through the screen, you feel its power, and I understand that. Too much power for an average VTuber.
Big T, what's going on, sir? Welcome.
What's up, Big T?
So everybody, welcome to the podcast here tonight. Thank you for everybody who are watching live on YouTube. Welcome to those listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, and wherever else you may be listening to us. We appreciate you all. Please hit that subscribe or the follow button on whatever app you may be using at the moment. We are here for our AEW Rampage review. And man, I say this a lot, but I absolutely love how they start off just no entrances, just bam, we got a match going. I think Eddie and Hager started slapping each other even before we got the DVR started on mine anyway. Like right away they were slapping each other as soon as my DVR started.
Yeah, it's definitely a positive of these these regular time slot rampages. I think when you go the live route where you have the live episode of Rampage, you can't get as much done, which has its strengths. You have better matches usually, but this pre-recorded 1 hour, which is, in all honesty, it's more like an hour and a half. We've been to the shows. We know that this Rampage content isn't an hour, but they squeeze it into an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the 100 miles an hour is always a fun hour. The hour flies by.
Avogado, thank you very much for dropping by with that like, sir. We definitely appreciate it. Tell the wife we said hello. Maybe she will join us one day.
Yeah, maybe. She should.
Yeah. All right, let's get started right up into this thing. Like I said, we had Jake Hager and Eddie Kingston started off right away just beating the crap out of each other, man. Hager took over using some of his MMA style, and I actually thought he was going to kick Eddie's ass for most of this match, but it wound up being a really nice back and forth where they were beating each other up, pretty good going back and forth. And the one thing I wrote down is I fucking love Eddie Kingston matches, man. His matches are so entertaining. Like, you really get behind the guy. I don't know what it is, but he makes for some really good matches.
It's just he's genuine, you know what I mean? Like, when we watch these wrestlers, like, the best characters are the genuine characters just turned up to 11, and that's why people love Eddie Kingston so much. That's why I love Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
That's why you love Eddie Kingston. This was a great match. This was a really hard-hitting match, like you said. Jake Hager really brings his MMA forte into it, and then you have Eddie Kingston with his brawling style. This was just like a really hard-hitting match. A lot of variety on the show tonight. Good amount of variety. It was a good show.
Yeah, and I gotta say that, like, I like the psychology of that match too, because it's like, yes, Eddie's a brawler, he's not as trained as Hager, but Eddie needs to get in, like, he needs to hit a shot here, he needs to hit a shot there, he needs to hit a shot there, do a wrestling move there, and that's how they told the story. And then it was almost like he was trying to bait him into, again, similar to the Thunder Rosa match that we had, into, hey, turn it back into wrestling because you were a wrestler first. And then it kind of, as it went on towards the end, was a wrestling match.
Yeah, man. I like Juan says, or I'm sorry, like Big T says, this was a great opener for the hour of wrestling. This would be great for people who were like, "Hey, let's tune into Rampage and see what they got going on tonight," you know. And they started off like you said, Rome, at 100 miles an hour, and it looked brutal for the whole match. So, you know, if I had been a new viewer coming around, like, you know, say like I was just popping into Impact or something, and I saw this, I'd be sticking around to see what they had coming up next. So this was a really good choice to start off Rampage.
Absolutely, and I think Juan in the chat really kind of also nails home about the Eddie Kingston thing, where
Yeah.
it's like Eddie embodies that ruthless aggression era, that really cool era of wrestling, or an era of wrestling which I think is like vastly underrated. I
Yes.
think that people kind of flock towards the Attitude Era, but I think that the ruthless aggression era does almost everything the Attitude Era did, but better in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, I mean, Eddie Kingston just has that raw, genuine feel to him, and it's infectious, you know. And you want to root for the guy. The guy's he's
Yeah.
awesome. He's excellent.
Plus the benefit of Jake Hager, different name, but you know, lapsed fans might recognize him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's a great
so
point.
he was that one, you know, because you want to put somebody you recognize. You're like, wait, what's that? And then if you know him from MMA, you know him then too.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a great point. So, you know, after a really good back and forth, we had a really long Jake Hager ankle lock spot on Eddie. I actually thought Eddie might tap at this point, but, you know, Eddie's just really good at selling that pain, you know, and he gets out of it and winds up hitting 2 of his spinning back fists, man. And I don't know how he is able to pull that move off and not actually knock people's heads off, because that move in real life, man, that backhand, that knocks people into next week, you know, like, and for him to do it, he must open his hand and he just slaps him or something, but he connects with it and everything, and it shows how good of a professional Eddie is to not actually hurt people with that move.
Yeah, I love the way he pinned Hager too.
Yeah.
The way he's like, I got 2 in me and that's it, and then he just falls on him.
Yeah.
You know.
Former
It was-
world champion in WWE. That's correct. I actually forgot about that. Yeah, good point, Juan.
Yep, world heavyweight champion.
World heavyweight title.
Yep.
Yeah, the world heavyweight champion.
Money
We
in the
the
Bank
people.
captain?
Or wait, we the people.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had a interview with Tony Schiavone with Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter backstage. This actually surprised me a tiny bit here when, you know, basically Britt went on a promo about a certain somebody picking up a belt that doesn't belong to them. Obviously referring to Tony Storm picking up Thunder Rosa's belt. And Tony Schiavone was like, "Are you referring to Tony Storm?" And she's like, "Yeah, dumbass." And like, that was the first time I've ever seen Britt and Tony Schiavone not being like friends. You know what I mean?
Which, thank God.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know, I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't super into that, but like, it was definitely shocking that like nothing has happened to have any bad blood, and it was just like, okay, that's not a thing anymore.
yeah, I thought this was a good promo. I'm a little curious as to where we're going with this. I mean, I think the obvious thing is that she's going to feud with Tony Storm, but Tony Storm seems like she's about to get into a program with Thunder Rosa. I mean, other things that she could be doing is maybe going back after the title, which I don't like that idea. I don't think that you should put her back there, you know, right now. Maybe down the line you can do that a rematch, but I wouldn't do that right now. I mean, maybe they're kind of teasing. There was one line where she said that the title's going to be going to somebody in Team DMD. I mean, maybe they're going to do a breakup with Jamie and Britt. I
Yeah.
mean, they've been teasing it here and there for the last few weeks.
That's
So
actually
that's
what
kind of where I'm.
that's
kinda
actually
where
what
I'm
I see
thinking.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking they're going. I could see them doing maybe a Britt versus Tony Storm match, and maybe
Yes.
somewhere like, you know,
Jamie
Britt
Hayter
loses,
cost
takes
her
it
the
out on
match.
Jamie Hayter, and I don't know either. Who do you think would stay heel on that? I mean, I think I would have Britt. I would have Britt stay heel on that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jamie
I was
Hayter
actually
is like violent enough, or like she's skilled enough. I think she'd be okay as a babyface.
well, I would like to see her as a babyface. I'm like super behind on like my YouTube videos. I watch a lot of YouTube, but I'm like super behind, and I was watching Ethan Page's Toy Hunt the other day, and they had a toy hunt where Jamie Hayter was on there, and I was like, she seems like such a nice person. I was like, oh, like she's not at all what I expected her to be like.
Yeah.
She should totally like. I would like to see her as a babyface. I was like, oh, that would actually be pretty cool. She's like buying, like, everyone's like looking around in the toy store trying to buy like action figures and stuff, and she's like, I like this anime desk. And it's like, and it's not even like a desk; it's like a little miniature desk. And
Oh,
she's like,
geez.
and Ethan Page is like, oh, you're gonna put like figures on it. She's like, no, I just like the desk.
I'm like,
It's
can
like a-
relate.
It's like a little anime desk with a chair and a baseball bat that leans against the chair. And I was like,
That's funny.
Okay.
That's funny.
but no, like she seems like a really cool person. I would like to see her. I would like to see that side of her. Let's get a babyface Jamie Hayter. She's badass, so let's do it.
Yeah. So basically, what I see happening is probably some sort of program between Britt and Tony Storm. Jamie Hayter somehow costs Britt, the match ultimately. That'll be Jamie Hayter staying heel and Britt going face on that one probably. Those two would probably feud after that. You remember we were talking about this. I don't know if it's too quick to take the belt away from Thunder Rosa, so you might want to give Tony Storm something else, at least for a month or two before we, take that strap off of Thunder Rosa there.
I hear you, but I mean, if we're gonna criticize them not giving her TV time, when we're gonna have to figure something out, and that seems like they're going in that direction where they do Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa. So I would say they'll probably do a one-off match. Not this week coming up, but maybe the next week. Have Britt versus Tony Storm. Do that, and then Tony Storm can go and feud with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, I still want to see that Jamie Hayter Tony Storm match because they were trying to like kill each other in the tag team match.
Very good.
I mean, that could possibly spread it out. That maybe they do Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm first.
Like some kind of give them like some kind of stipulation that they want, like if they want to do a tables match or something blood feudy, because that needs to blow off because there's no way that there's a blow off for that yet, and it's too hot in a tag team, and they're just it was great. It was like two charging. They're like boom, right in the middle. I was like, yo, fight.
All right. So next up, we had a Ortiz promo on Jericho. It was a nice little vignette that he made up there. I'm telling you guys, I think Ortiz is taking Jericho's hair. Jericho's 2-0 in hair matches in his career. Third time's the charm, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I thought this was a really cool promo from Ortiz.
Yeah,
I would have liked a little bit more length to it, but I mean, I think it was, it got the job done. I thought it was good. I really liked it.
Yeah, I really liked the promo as well. I was like, oh, I didn't realize Ortiz could talk that well. He's kind of quiet most of the time. Like Santana does most of the talking,
Right, yeah. Juan
so
makes
I was
a good
like,
point.
Oh, wow.
Triple threat between Jamie, Thunder Rosa, and Tony Storm. Oof. Okay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I always prefer to call triple threats the ECW name, which is a three-way dance.
Three-way dance?
Is that
nice?
Just a random thing I wanted to kind of put that out there. I don't know if anyone's ever heard me talk about three-way dances, but I always refer to them as three-way dances. I don't know. Something about that. The ECW era kind of nailed that for me. Like, triple threat's cool and all, but like a three-way dance, it sounds very poetic. I like it.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good idea. You could actually have all four of them kind of feud in a big feud circle and then have it wind up being a three-way. Someone gets kicked out or something. Maybe even, I don't want to say four-way, but
Yeah, it's a four-way dance.
Yeah, four-way dance. All right, so next up was a Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh, his debut as a in-ring wrestler for AEW versus a couple of jobbers. Did not even bother to write their names down.
I wrote them down.
Did you? What were their names? They deserve it.
Their names are Davey Vega, because, everybody has to rip off the Vega name from Street Fighter, and Matt Fitchett.
Alrighty then.
There you go.
Well, guys,
they
you
had
guys
Venom
did
knee
good
pads.
job.
I noticed that. They had Venom knee pads. They both each had one Venom knee pad.
The one guy probably had him, and he's like, "Here, you wear one and I wear one. We look like a tag team."
Tag team gear done.
This actually surprised me. I did not think that Satnam Singh was gonna start the match in the ring. I know they kind of like started with Jay Lethal in there, but he immediately tagged out. Satnam went in there, and I thought he looked good as a giant. I didn't think he didn't look sluggish to me. I thought he did absolutely fine for his first time that I've seen him in the ring. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I was super impressed, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I think we need to be reasonable and we need to set reasonable expectations. This guy is never going to be on the level of, you know, like he's not going to be Kenny Omega out there or anything like that. He's a big guy he's obviously going to be limited mobily, but I mean, he still did a crossbody splash, and that was really cool.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Yeah, initial reactions, he's definitely better than the Great Khali. So that's a start. That's a great start because Great Khali is the absolute worst wrestler of all time, hands down. And like he's better than Omos, you know, like let's just say that because I've seen one or two things. Jeffrey's told me a lot. Jeffrey, big fan of the World Wrestling Federation, watches it every week, twice a week. Probably watched the whole SmackDown show. Sounded awful on Twitter, but you know he probably did.
Unfortunately, all I watched was Ricochet get his ass beat by Walter.
You know what,
dude? That drop kick from Gunther was nice.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
See, look at these guys, bunch of Fed fans in here.
No, I'm an NXT fan. There's a difference. And Walter was in NXT.
Yeah,
his name is Gunther. It's not Walter.
Gunther. All right, let's back on track here. But
no. Well, I mean, we could talk about the Fed real quick if you want. I mean, because I thought that again, I didn't watch the show, but like, man, it just sounded like a lot of bad booking tonight on SmackDown. Again, this is from somebody who's just reading Twitter. Jeff, how much of SmackDown did you watch tonight, sir?
That was literally all I saw. I don't even know anything else that happened. Was only that match.
All right, I'll take your word for it this time.
Yeah,
but no, I mean it just sounded. It was. Sorry,
I really want Ricochet in AEW. And to be perfectly honest, they did not squash Ricochet. They had a great match. Like I was very impressed with this match. But the ending there, Ricochet hit him with everything he had, and he just kind of swatted him like a fly and smashed him at the end. But yeah, NXT 2.0 is trash. That's not even worth. I can't even watch it. I have tried, and it is horrible, man. Horrible.
Did you see the demo for NXT 2.0 this past week? It was like a 0.1.
Dude, I don't know who that's for, man.
I don't know who it's for either. It's really weird because at least NXT used to be like, I mean, I don't know. They just keep getting that 55 and up. You know what I mean? Like they refuse to kind of go after the right kind of younger demographic. Like the problem with WWE, like, I mean, there's a lot of problems with WWE, but if I was to like really kind of get down to it, the two things that come to mind are the lack of star power and the fact that like they either want to appeal to 5-year-olds or 55-year-olds and nobody in between. And I think that that's a huge problem.
And I feel like NXT only appeals to their like in studio audience. Like outside that studio audience, like it's terrible.
You know what it might be? And this is like a disposable. This is just a thing that I know. So those two age demographics are the most spent. They're like usually they have the most the 55
disposable
and up
income,
have the most income to spend. Thank you, disposable income, and children will generally get what they want, etc. and so on. They'll be like, "Mom, I want it," until the parent buys it. So they're also very same thing with the parents buying stuff for the kids. So those are the two like demos that have disposable income. So maybe that's what they're targeting. I don't know, but like just from that set of knowledge.
I mean, whatever their target is, they're missing, man. They're not even on the sheet of paper. It's
no, I think they're absolutely hitting the targets they want. I mean, Forrest said it best. I mean, in their mind, they look at the demographics that have the most money to spend. The problem with that also is that I don't think they care about any demographics necessarily in the long run because they're just getting billions of dollars from Fox and from USA and from Saudi Arabia. You know, it's they're getting so much money, like they're making so much money, and we can never disregard that. I know we're talking about Rampage, but like this is a good conversation to have. we can never disregard the fact that WWE in the past few years have had their most profitable years, year after year, leading up to this year. They are making more money than ever, and it's just not representative of the product. The product's gotten worse and worse and worse.
What it is that they're living off their reputation right now because all these other countries are really wanting them to do things with them, so they're getting all this extra money. If they were literally just going off of like their US, ratings and things like that, they'd be in trouble right now.
And see, like, also, this is really where the demo comes in and where it is important is they need to, again, I don't care one way or the other. That company could go out of business tomorrow, and I think the world would be a better place for it. That's just my opinion. Whatever. But, like, if the company wants to succeed, they need to get that 18 to 49 demo. Like, yeah, those 5-year-olds are important, but the 5-year-old retention, like once you get a little bit older, a lot of the stuff you like when you're 5 goes away. So it's like you need to keep that 18, that young teenager, like that's the demo you really got to focus on, because the 18-year-olds of yesterday or of today are the paying customers of tomorrow. We were all there. Forrest and I were there. I remember Forrest and I, hanging out and watching WrestleMania at my dad's house. You know what I mean? And now my dad doesn't pay. I pay for the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like you got to build an audience. It's just it's just really baffling. Like, I understand the money's good now, but you see this problem happening right now where it's like, okay, so Roman's going away. All right, well, we just signed Cody from AEW, so we're good now. Oh shit, Cody's out for 9 months, although it's probably more like 5 months, and they're just lying about how long it's going to take.
Yeah, they just
that way
said
they can do
8 months.
They're going to do
say?
On Smack, according to Twitter.
They said 9 months.
Show.
Yeah, 9 months. That's wild.
But it's not going to be 9 months. We all know that that's what WWE does.
At the Royal Rumble.
He'll be Royal Rumble, yeah.
Yeah, he'll win the Royal Rumble in 2023. He'll go on to main event WrestleMania, and he will officially complete his blood pact with Vince McMahon, and
his blood
fuck Cody Rhodes.
All right, let's get back on track here with this Satnam Singh match. So again, I think we were all impressed with Satnam Singh. I was not expecting him to.
They did. I like the attack the giant while he's getting in the rope spot, and then he just like looked at them like, "The fuck you guys doing?" and just yeeted them both.
Yeah.
Right as soon as he got in, I really enjoyed that spot, and then also the crossbody was really nice, and I like his finish. I don't know if that's his finish, but whatever he did at the end, it was like a razor's edge. It was like spinning.
Yeah,
I think it's called a whirly bird.
Yeah, it was like the spinning razor's edge. That looked brutal, man. I was like, whoa, when he threw the guy,
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. It definitely exceeded my expectations. When they booked it as a tag match, I was concerned at first. I was like, oh god, this guy's gonna go out there, do a few like chops, and then like tag out. But like, no, obviously he's probably not. Yeah, well, yeah, he did the whole match, and then he tagged Lethal in, and Lethal hit the lethal injection for the win.
Yep.
Yeah,
a double lethal injection. That was pretty cool.
Big T giving his of what it normally is. Big T says that he gives his in-ring debut a 4.5. If we're grading on a curve, yes. Like if we're talking about what I expected or like what was a reasonable expectation for him in this first match, I think a 4.5 is fair.
Is that out of 5?
Obviously, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I feel like
the
vibe in general.
I feel
like the vibe in general was very positive.
But I do want to go back to something Big T said in the chat earlier about the Great Khali, that in NJPW, Great Khali, when he was a younger dude, was a monster. He could move back then. But WWE didn't get him till he was retired, which was a great point, Big T.
I had no idea that he was in New Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll resign the statement and repost it as WWE Great Khali was the worst wrestler of all time.
Yeah, that's the way we take it,
Yeah. I didn't know he was in New Japan. I thought he was just kind of a big guy. I know he did a few movies. I was like, oh, he must have been an actor turned wrestler. He wanted some money.
I actually didn't know that till recently either, and I got to see 1 or 2 of his like highlight reels, and man, his chops in NJPW, they looked brutal. Like they didn't look, like he was lifting up a tree limb and slowly coming down. Like they look good. So. All right, so next up we had Lexi Nair searching backstage for Hookhausen. She was like, they were supposed to be here for an interview. I don't know where they went. And Danhausen pulls up in a John Deere, I would say golf cart, but it was more of like a John Deere like janitor's vehicle type thing where you could like load some stuff into a little truck bed in the back, but you know, it was a little John Deere golf cart essentially.
Yeah, it was a golf cart with a bed.
Yeah, golf cart with a bed. There you go. She basically asks him where's Hook, and you know, he explains how they were out buying some cars and stuff like that. And he speeds off, and Hook speeds up behind where he was, driving what I believe is called a Raptor. If anybody saw this and they know what it's really called, please tell me in the chat, but I do think this is called a Raptor. Some of them are legal on the streets, some of them are not, depends on if it's got the blinkers and the taillights in the back. A Buggyhausen, that's what it was.
Buggyhausen, let's go.
But I thought this was great. I was expecting Hook to give the girl the nod to get in the car because she was definitely thirsting over Hook there. I was expecting him to give her the, you know, hop in, but didn't happen.
No, Hook played it way cool. He was as cool as he should have been. There was
kind of.
Yeah, I love this team, and this promo is why I love this team, because it's just Danhausen is just like, of course these guys went out and bought golf carts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, of course they did, and of course Hooks is like fucking cool as shit. Right. You know what I mean? Like Danhausen pulls up, and like you would think, like here was the expectation, right? You know, Danhausen's talking. He's like, "Oh, you want to see Hook's car?" And I'm thinking Hook's gonna pull up in like this super nice, like I don't know, like Lamborghini or something. It's just
yeah,
really,
that's what I was expecting.
Really gorgeous car. And he pulls up in a fucking golf cart because his friend got the golf cart, so he went with his friend and got a golf cart as well. But of course, Hook is like, it has to be cool. It can't just be a golf cart. Yeah, this is a perfect segment, and I love this team. Perfect team, perfect friends is what I wrote.
It's good, man. They mix so well because it's straight man, like it's, you know, it's like the crazy guy, and then Hook is such a good doing the straight guy, the straight face act, and he's been doing it the entire time, and so it plays off of Danhausen so much better. And it's very clear that Danhausen's not in charge.
Yeah.
He has to clear everything with Hook.
Say this also about their friendship. You know, I think that they have a really strong friendship there. The kind of friendship that if Danhausen needed to get to Best Buy for an Amiibo, I think Hook would make sure that he was at that Best Buy to get the Amiibo. And I feel like Danhausen probably has all of the Amiibo that he could ever want.
So
thanks to his friend Hook.
Speaking of this getting to Best Buy, so some of our chat may not know what Rome is actually referring to here. So give me one moment and I will show you guys what is going on here.
We get it, Rome. You gotta go fast. We get it. You needed that Sonic Amiibo. We get it.
All right. There we go. I'm going to play the video. Oh, hang on.
Impressive, isn't it? Complete line of the Smash Brothers Amiibo. Something, you know, a conquest that took me years to finalize. You know, it takes dedication, it takes commitment, it takes passion, it takes priority to meet a monumental goal such as this. And when we talk about these things, you know, I define them as championship qualities. Qualities of a champion. What makes a champion a champion? So, can I tell you a story about Forrest? You know, spare me a minute of your time. So Forrest is someone, as I've said before, dear friend of mine. Close friend, you know, almost brother-like. I've known him for more than a decade. There was a time where I needed Forrest, and I needed to rely on him. And he let me down. So, through my conquest of collecting Amiibos, there was one, for those that don't know, that, they needed to be bought at specific retailers, GameStop, Best Buy, Toys R Us when that was a thing. That's how long I've been doing this. Toys R Us was still a thing. But so there was one Amiibo, it was a Sonic the Hedgehog Amiibo. And I told, Forrest, at the time I didn't have a means of getting to a Best Buy, which is where I could purchase the Sonic the Hedgehog Amiibo. And Forrest, him being the good friend, he made an empty promise to me. He promised me that he would be there for me to take me to Best Buy so I could get this Amiibo. Well, I told him what time he had to be at my house. I told him what time Best Buy opened. I told him the nature of such things and that we had to be there a little early. No problem, boss. I got you, bro. I got you, man. And what happened, Forrest? What happened? You didn't show up until about an hour and a half, 2 hours after the time we agreed upon that you would be there. We talked about, how important this was to me and like the commitment that I had and how I was willing to take public transportation to get there. But you thought you were going to be a good friend. Well, being a good friend is a lot like being a champion. It's not just empty promises and showing up to do a podcast once or twice. It's being there 2 times a week. 2 times a week. So to finish the story, we get there, and I don't get that Sonic the Hedgehog Amiibo. Not that day, anyway. I had to do it myself. I had to go out. I had to work hard for what I have. Which, again, we're talking about Forrest. All of these things I'm talking about. Reliability, dependability. These are not things that Forrest is. I don't know how he's... Don't count me down. I'll say I'm done when I'm done. These are things that a champion needs to be. And Forrest just isn't those things. And I want you to understand that this is important to me. This is what this was. Just know that at Forbidden Door, you're going to be 2 hours late to the party.